I think I really believe that things happen for a reason, and you attract things in your life for a certain reason depending on what you're sending out. And what was so fascinating about meeting Essa was there was a lot that hung upon one little decision before we met Essa, and it was when I was moving house. I was choosing in between these two houses on parallel roads to each other, and ended up choosing this one house which was on Glenarm Road. And so every day when Etienne, the third guy from the very best, was coming to my house to work, he had to walk past Essa's house or Essa's shop, which he wouldn't have done if I'd picked that other house. And so therefore we met Essa when Etienne made friends with him, bought a bike from him from his junk shop, invited him to a housewarming party. But there was a lot of other things that played a role in me seeing that house is very important for me at least and for all of us, because my neighbors there were really nice and they set me up on a blind date, which I've never been on before. And I've been with that girl for 3 years now. We're getting married this summer, so I'd never met those neighbors obviously if it wasn't for that. So there was a lot of things to it. But
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, I moved to London in 1999 myself from Malawi. I used to make some music in Malawi also, but in a different way because I didn't make any album. After living in London for about roughly about 7 years, I decided to have my own second-hand shop, junk shop, which was like Johan says, it's just one of the things that fall into place, at the right time sometimes also. Because even myself, to be at that place, there's so many shops in London, but to be in Glenham also, marks one of the reasons why we came together like we are now. So, yeah, Etienne, the other half of Radio Crate, used to pass my shop when he's going to Johan to do some music. And he was like, one day he bought a bicycle for his girlfriend as a gift, I guess. So he asked me if I do anything else apart from just being a shop owner. So I told him I was a drummer. So he told me that, oh wow, we are looking for African percussionist. So he thought I was the one that he got me, And the same day he had a housewarming party, which he invited me to go to. So I went there with my cousin, and I just saw Johan there too, smiling at me, and I was smiling at him as well. So he asked me, oh, you're a percussionist? I said, yeah, I am, you see. So he said, I mean, if you don't mind, maybe after the end of the party, or maybe tomorrow you can just come to the studio so we can do some percussions. And I went to the studio the following day, wasn't it? Then he was kind of putting some track in his laptop, so I was just humming on top of them. But I didn't realize that he might like it, me, I was just playing about. So he said, oh wow, seems like you can sing as well. Can we try to record something? So we did a song by the title Chalo, which is the album track now. Yeah, so that was the first song that we did. I get so much inspired by drums, by the way they beat drums for me. It's a very great inspiration because I'm a drummer as well. So it does, yes.
he's the African Phil Collins after all.
I knew that I could sing like a long time ago. I mean, since I was a kid, because I knew that I could sing. Although I was a drummer, I used to do some backup singing as well in Malawi. Sometimes lead vocals as well, but we used to do like cover songs. So although I was a drummer, I was singing also partly at the same time, because I can drum and sing at the same time too. For me, it's like, when I hear radio like sound, music, for me, I just automatically, got familiated with, because it's like, it's got so much feeling, like radio beats are like, they're just like, it's like non-boundary kind of music that, I've been dreaming about since I was a kid. Even when I was in Malawi, when I was in a band, I thought if I make my own album, it's not going to be something that people expect. I will do my own style. So Radio Kid, just happen to be the kind of people that, they also do music according to the way they feel, They don't have anything like rules or principles or what, but they do music out of the way they feel. So with me, it was just like a perfect match to work with. One of the things is also it's the chemistry that works among us as well, Because, you can do business, you can do anything if you don't have a good relationship with somebody else, Apart from the fact that, we are the same band and we do the same thing. But, our relationship also contributes a lot to what we do as well, So that's one of the things as well, I think, that makes it possible. And the trust also among each other as well, you see. Yeah.
Yeah, I was spending my first 3 years in London. Yeah, I loved it though. It was a great time. It got messy towards the end, but it was a good time. But I mean, London is a fascinating place. It's a lot like New York, and there's a few places in the world where you really feel like it's a melting pot of cultures and creativity and art, whatever. And London is really one of those places, and I love that since day one there. Like I've always lived in Hackney most of the time. Now I live in both very black communities, and before that I used to live in Finsbury Park, which is a bit more Turkish, Indian and stuff. So you really get a feeling of all these things coming together, and you can move around just little parts, and your mind is kind of blown again with something completely new and fresh. And with that as well, with all the people that come in to play in London, especially back in the day when, a good 5 years ago, something, when we started working as Radio Clear, when AMA was around a lot, Switch was there, Diplo was in town a lot. There was a lot of old music friends that kind of was moving around about as well, which is now as well, but new people, and it's great, but people get more and more busy and you don't see so much of them.
Sure.
Like anything, if something makes a person feel something, whether that person feels something good or something bad about it, then obviously that person is sending out some kind of, if I'm walking around being really happy because I've listened to an album which makes me really happy that day, then I'm obviously affecting people around me. It might be on a small scale. I think it takes a lot for music to really have an impact on a big scale. Of course, I think there is definitely ways of where that could be, but I think it's not. I mean, nothing is an entity on its own. Everything is connected in one way or another. So I think music is a beautiful way of bringing people together. It might be a bit corny, but if what I find with the very best, which is something that I'm probably the most proud of with the project, is a lot of people come up and say, I listen to this in the morning, it gives me a great start to the day. When I listen to it, it gives me a really good feeling and stuff. I never really thought about that too much when we were making it, and that's all due to Ezra's voice. He's got this kind of voice that just makes you feel good. If you can do something small like that, at least for someone, that's great.
I think it's like, I would say that music, uplifts people's, spirits. That's what I would say. And mostly also, there's so many languages in the world, but music is like one big language that can communicate the whole world, and it can also make the whole world become like a small community, in a sense that I come from Malawi. I sing Chichewa, and many people don't understand what I'm saying, but it's just because of the melody and the feeling that the very best brings up. That's what fascinates people, So it's not necessarily about the language that you're singing, but it's the feeling. Because music is all about feeling and influences as well at the same time. So music is really a very big, important thing, that can really make people, come together, communicate with people as well in so many different ways.